Hey guys, TC here from the Christian Gaming Channel, bringing you a very, very long overdue episode. First of all, I just want to get this out of the way. I know that Mario usually is uploaded on Mondays, but my capture card decided it didn't want to record more than 2 seconds again. So I'm not sure if the SD card is on its way out or my capture card is. One of those two things has definitely gone haywire. So in the meantime, we're getting a bonus episode that I had every intention of doing like a year or two back. But it's here at least now. Better late than never, I suppose. Yeah, we're collecting emeralds, and as you can see, this is Sonic Advance 1, and we're collecting them as Tails. Now the reason Tails is collecting all the emeralds is because accessing the springs to get to the emeralds is made significantly easier by playing as Tails. Knuckles can do a pretty decent job as well, but Tails is the ideal player for this. And unlike Sonic Advance 2, as long as you collect all the emeralds with one of the characters, it's collected for every character. So it makes the job even easier. And you can see we got our first emerald. Thank the Lord for it, because these stages are kind of hard. And not necessarily for the reasons you would think so. It's depth perception. It's really hard to get that when you're not dealing with something that's 3D. That's all 2D. So that is quite the challenge at times. At the very least, I can knock this off the long overdue videos list now. I know getting all the rabbits and minigames in Mario 64 DS is definitely on that list, but I can't do anything about that because I needed the capture card to work. So I don't know what I'm going to do in the meantime. I can't afford to get a new capture card. Like, I've done all the spending I could. Well, I should anyways. Just say I'm financially strapped at the moment, so I can't exactly go out and get a new SD card or a new capture card either. I have to save money for you know, food and other essential stuff like laundry detergent and whatnot. But we can manage. At least Tails is making bank by collecting all those rings. I wonder how much those are worth. Can't be worth too much if they're everywhere. Then again, they do protect you from getting damage that could literally severely injure or end you. So I guess they're worth something. And we are just overkill with the amount of rings we got there. I do like the sprite work they did for the tunnel section, so it's nice. Funny thing with this though is if you play as Sonic and you collect the emerald, his head looks so weird at the end of that tunnel section where he's waving to the player. His head gets bigger and then it gets smaller again. You don't see that with Tails' player sprite. I don't know about Knuckles or Amy because I don't really play as them. It's been a long time since I've done any of those special stages with Knuckles. But yeah. I don't know if they look weird, but Tails at least looks normal. I don't mind these special stages, but like I said, it's the depth perception issue for me. I would like to say I think Sonic Advance 2 has the better special stages, but it has the worst implementation of accessing those special stages. Because you're forced to try and find 7 or so special rings. And it's just really ridiculously hard to do that. That's why I prefer Sonic Advance 2 SP. It's a ROM hack that makes things significantly more balanced and easier. Unfortunately, you still have to collect all the emeralds with each character, but that job is a whole lot easier to do. so I'll take it where I can with Sonic Advance 2. That game, I love to time trial it, but I hate playing through the adventure mode because it is just a pain to deal with. Well, I have managed to fill the entire section of the yellow special stage up with some form of conversation. Oh, I wonder if each gem actually corresponds to the special stage color. I would feel ridiculous if I actually never noticed that. I mean, it would be clever, and I'll give Sega credit. Slash, Dimps. This was when Dimps was good. So, if the color coding thing is correct, this emerald will be green. I suppose I should talk about the mechanics a little bit. You move left and right with the D-pad. Those little red circles can boost you forwards or backwards. You kind of just learn it based on context. Those bombs obviously take rings out of you. You can press your B button to do a spin to get more rings that are around you, but you stay stuck in place when you do that. And you can also spin when you go through those golden circle things to do a trick to get more rings. The timing on that is kind of weird. I don't know how to explain it, but the timing is just strange. You pick up on it after a while, and you eventually get good enough at it. If you press the A button, you also can do a dive, which makes you go faster, but again, you're stuck in that one spot, so dive with caution, because you might run into a bomb and lose rings, and then fall off your board and fall all the way down to the bottom, and miss out on your emerald. Context of these springs, though, I wonder, if they're bouncing you way up into the air, does that mean these giant tubes just are floating up in space somehow, and that's how you get emeralds? It's things like that that you really never think about until someone brings it up. And yeah, it's a green emerald. I guess they're color-coded. Who knew? The other thing that kind of feels strange to me is the fact that Snow Mountain, I think, if I remember the name of the zone correctly, has 2 special stages, which is very weird. Why I went out of my way to show this one, I'm not entirely certain. I guess it's kind of out of the way, so it's probably better to show this one more. Most of the other ones can be found relatively easily if you just explore a little bit. This one's definitely out of the way. And this is why Tails is just a really good option. It's just really hard to get to this one, so I guess that's why I decided to show this entire clip. I recorded this like a year, maybe 2 or more ago. It was a long time ago, but you can see that emerald spring is very out of the way. Silver emerald? I mean, I like that color palette. The blue and the gray look very nice together. See, the Game Boy Advance era of games is always kind of special to me. I mean, I know I grew up on them, but they feel like the last of the 90s to me. Like, you could easily see something like this on a Sega Genesis or a Saturn. You know, it'd be more limited, but it would still be relatively similar in design, I would imagine. I mean, on the Saturn it wouldn't be limited. This would probably be full 3D. But you get what I'm saying. It feels like it's more in line with the 90s than it does with what would come from the DS era, where it felt more like the beginning of cell phone mobile gaming and stuff. Granted, that era of games was pretty decent for the most part. Shovelware galore, but for the most part it was pretty decent. The Game Boy Advance definitely felt like a last hurrah for the Super Nintendo / Genesis era style games. even if I was never there for it. Still feels kind of nostalgic. And we have our silver emerald. I like the color coding thing. It's a nice touch, it really is. This one is a little out of the way, but if you're careful, you'll make it to it. The thing with these later emerald springs is that they are very brutal when it comes to failures. Again, that's why you want to play as Tails, because he basically makes those failures non-existent. Which is a great thing. It makes getting those springs so much more easier. If we just take this over here, avoid getting hit by the Buzz Bomber. And we got hit by the Buzz Bomber anyway, so it doesn't matter. Come on, Tails, you can do it. You got hit twice, but you can keep pushing through, Tails. You got this. Hit 3 times. I really don't know what I was doing with that third one. Like, why did I go over there? Why didn't I just go to the right? I would have been fine there, unless I just really wanted to take out that Buzz Bomber. I guess this would be another blue emerald of some sort. It's always kind of bothered me with Angel Island Zone in this game. Between playing 3 and Advance, my 2 favorite Sonic games, Angel Island changes a lot, so I think it's honestly just a different island altogether, because you don't really see ruins like that at all in the original. This one more or less takes after Adventure, which I don't even really play Adventure that much if at all. The physics are fine, I just really don't care for the storyline. Overly complex for a Sonic game in my opinion. I much prefer the Sonic Advance style story, where it's Robotnik did a bad thing, go stop him. I need nothing more than that. But I won't fault people for liking more complex storylines either. Everybody has their own unique interests and taste and stuff. Here's a hard section. You gotta go left and right, but you gotta time it just right if you want to collect your rings. Otherwise, you'll end up losing rings. You know, I know they're video game characters now, but that really would hurt landing on the plane. And here's the last emerald section, which had the beginning part showing the spring cut off because text was on front of the gameplay, so I really didn't want to put that in there because I don't think that would have looked good. So that was cut out. Again, you could probably easily just look up a guide online and find out where all these spring locations are if you really want to get the true ending. You don't really have to get the emeralds to get the complete Sonic Advance experience. All the emeralds do is give you one last stage, and you can't even play as Super Sonic in the regular stages, which is just a Dimp's tradition. And I think that was started in Sonic Pocket Color, because more or less the same team that worked on that game moved on to create Dimps, which made the Sonic Advance games and pretty much all the portable Sonics past that point. I think with only a couple exceptions? I still don't know how you get those rings. Those bomb rings are weird. It's like they're just inviting you to lose more rings than you're actually getting out of it. Another note, Wario color scheme. It's got yellow, it's got purple. I think Mania has a Game Boy Color palette style Blue Sphere stage. Well, there's our final emerald. And we are going to cut to Sonic and Tails defeating Robotnik. Now, the downside is, the way I tried recording this was just going to, final zone from the level select, like one does after you finish beating the game. Unfortunately, the special cutscene for Supersonic did not play. So for those of you who haven't seen it, I encourage you to go look it up if you're curious, but I'll just give you a brief rundown of what it is. Instead of the place exploding, if I remember correctly, Eggman flees off towards the moon. Sonic runs to the end of the platform, watches Eggman just fleeing to the moon, turns into Supersonic, and chases him down. And if you have Tails with you, Tails just kind of watches Sonic fly up to the moon, which is a nice little cutscene animation I don't really get to see. Unless you have Tails with you, so it's a nice little secret. And here we are going to enter the Moon Zone. The Sonic series was very interested in the moon during the 2000s, wasn't it? The basic premise of this is you have to use your B button to dash, and you press your A button to jump as per usual, but if you dash into those little Pac-Man orbs, you can break them open and get rings out of them. But if you don't dash through them, you get captured in them and they hold you in place. You can't really take damage, you can only get stunned, but if you run out of rings, you lose a life. So you want to be careful about your ring count. Try to conserve rings as much as you can, but you also have to go full on, attack mode and just ram Sonic into the helmets of this robot. And there he goes, he is down. Why we chased him down? I'm still not entirely certain. I mean, we had all the emeralds. A Master Emerald hasn't been a thing since Sonic 3 / Adventure and Adventure 2. Outside of those games, I don't think it's been a thing. But yeah, Sonic just chased him down just to destroy his mech suit, I guess. He wanted to make sure he stayed away for a while, I suppose. Anyways, Tails is now out looking for Sonic, and I imagine it probably takes quite a long time to actually get back from the moon, even for Sonic speed. Tails has found Sonic. Nice callback to Sonic the Hedgehog 2 with that sepia tone picture. Actually, that's just a callback to Sonic 2 in general. I never really thought about that. That's cool. Well, anyways, here we go. Super Sonic finished. Thank you guys for watching this video. Remember, Christ is King and Jesus loves you. Bye.